Hi everybody, it's Rhiannon. It's Tuesday here at Witches of the Moon. This week's topic is dream magic, and I was really looking forward to doing this topic. This is something that I feel like I know a lot about. Now comes the issue of whether or not or how to do this in a video that's not like 14 days long. I have been doing dream magic since I was a child, since before I even knew what it was. Dream magic is really good for me because I am really bad at meditating. I can't ever shut my brain off, so it's easier for me to do communication with spirits, with deities, soul searching for problems and things like that through dream work. I'm going to go through really quick and kind of tell you some instances. What I found also was when I first started doing dream magic, I would get all these books on interpretations, and they're great as a baseline for certain things. But what I found is that the more you know yourself, the more you practice the dream journaling and the dream magic and things like that, you find that things mean something a little bit different for every person. So let's start out with the fact that this is my dream journal. This is one of many. I've had several. I just started this one. I keep a dream journal and I write down the ones that I feel are the most important. When I say that, it's not that, let me try to word, like, dreams journal are important, but there's a feeling that I get when I know that the dream is different. Obviously, if a spirit comes through, it feels different. There are certain triggers that are personal to me that I know is supposed to be a message. I have done work with Thor through dream work because like I said, I'm really, really bad at meditating. And through dream work, I have worked with him in channeling energy and things like that because that's something that I need to work on. I have communicated with many spirits of my loved ones, of other people's loved ones through dream work. And it really, this comes naturally to me. So I don't know what I would say to somebody who's interested in it that doesn't feel like it comes natural to them. Because I feel like I didn't really do anything special to get it. It's just there. Because like I said, I've been a very vivid dreamer since I was a child. So trying to explain it to somebody is really difficult because I'm not sure what I would say would actually work for them. I don't know if it's a natural gift that some people just can't possess or what it is. Like, some people are empaths and some people aren't. But what I'll start out with is write down your dreams every day. All of them. Once you get used to finding out which ones are going to mean something, then maybe you don't have to write them all down. I used to write down every little thing. Colors and numbers in my dreams are a big deal. Also, I found that things, and I think it's because I'm a writer, but things written down in a dream, like if I'm reading something, that's something I need to pay attention to. The problem with that is for me when I'm dreaming, if I am reading something and I'm not conscious enough to understand what it is that I'm reading, then I go back to reread it, it starts to disappear. So that's when I know, for instance, if something is meant for me to really pay attention to is something in writing, especially if it starts to disappear. Then it's kind of like you have a shot, you need to practice and you need to focus. And this is what I need you to know from whatever guide or whoever it is that is communicating with me that night. Then, like I said, numbers and colors are a big thing. When I first started practicing, the number 3, like when I first really started to really get into it, the number 3, and all the dream books that I had said a family union. And so, at the time I wasn't aware what that meant. And this is when I really started to see a difference in certain things, that these books give you a baseline for what they mean. It's kind of like tarot cards. You get a baseline of what each card means, but the way that you interpret it is your own personal thing. So for instance, my grandmother was diagnosed with cancer in 2003. Leading up to that, I think the weekend before, I had dreamt about 3 rotted bananas. They were brown. They had spots all over them. They were just wilting away. They were just nothing. And a week later, Grandma got diagnosed with lung cancer with several spots on her lung. So immediately I kind of started realizing, okay, 3 is family, and 3 is, you know, I started to get nervous anytime I saw a 3, because usually it meant bad things. So I saw the 3, I saw the rotted bananas, and then Grandma got sick, and then Grandma passed away. So it did foretell a family union, a family unity, and the rotted banana was telling you that it was a death. So I kind of panicked anytime I saw 3, because the first time I really paid attention to it, somebody extremely important to me passed away. So then I realized, with more research, especially once I got into finding out who my deity was, that 3 was a number of Rhiannons, and I feel like now that was it was a warning, but it was also a way of letting me know that she was there. So I don't really fear the 3 so much anymore. I pay attention to other things. So if you dream of a 3 and it's something positive, maybe it's 3 flowers, then maybe there's a wedding or something like that. You have to pay attention. It's kind of like if you're playing tarot cards, or not playing tarot cards, but if you're using your tarot cards and you lay a card down and then you want more information about that card, you lay a second card down on top of it and you read the 2 together. It's the same thing. Dream divination is that way. You have to pick apart everything. If you dream of water, for me, dreaming of water is my emotions. Oftentimes when I'm very, very stressed, I will dream of being in turbulent water. I will dream of being in like brackish, like colored turbulent water. If I feel like I'm very overwhelmed, I will dream of a tidal wave usually coming at me. And that's something that tells me that I need to slow it down some. So water is extremely important. Water are your numbers. Water is your personal self most of the time. Blood, a lot of the times, if I am spreading myself too thin and I am exhausted, then I will typically have a very, very horrible, morbid dream regarding blood. Whether it's myself bleeding or I see it, it usually means that I am depleting myself of my own life force, especially if it's on me. If I dream of other people bleeding, then maybe that's just something for me to tell them, hey, you might want to slow it down some, if I feel comfortable enough to do that with people. Colors are a really big deal, because red can mean several things. You know, if it's a light red, it may not mean the same thing as a dark red. Dark red usually most of the time, depending on its anger. You know, I pay attention to that. Your purples are different. Your blues are different. Green is different. They all have a different variation. It's kind of like, you know, you wouldn't use a pink candle for anger. That is a deviation of red, but you would use a bright, dark red candle for anger, you know? So it's the same, you know, I learned to apply a lot of my candle correspondences to my dream work to interpret them. I don't really have a nightly ritual because I feel like it does come very natural to me. If I need something specific, usually right before bed, right when you're in that point of sleep and not, depending on what it is that I need, I do have a couple of chants that I will use. And most of the time, if I'm not disturbed, if Jason's alarm doesn't go off, or whatever, that then I can get the message that I need that night. I've used it several times of, I know that I need to do this spell and I'm just at a loss for how to work this spell, and I will do a dream spell to dream something that will give me clues as to what I need to do with this spell. Several things like that. And you write down these things. You write down what works and what doesn't. I have seen several people that have crossed over in my life that have come to me and let me know that they are all right. That can be a great comfort. It can be heartbreaking because you miss them so much and you wake up and they're not there. But in the long run, it is very helpful to, see their face again and know that they're all right. So in that aspect, my dream magic has come in extremely handy in my grief process, dealing with the loss of my grandmother. And I've had several other people that I've been very close to that have passed away recently, that dreaming of them has helped tremendously to let me know that they're all right. I have, and it's very rare that I do this because it's harder for me to do this because I don't have an emotional connection, but I had a friend whose mom passed away suddenly, and she had asked me to go. She actually asked me to make her a dream satchel so that she could dream of her mother. So I put together what would work, and what actually ended up happening was the night that I gave it to her, I had everything kind of still in my hands when I went to bed. And I ended up dreaming about her mother, and I had never met her mother. I just dreamt of this woman that I had never seen, sitting on this porch that I had never seen. And so when I called my friend and I said, hey, I said, ask her if this makes sense to her. I said, because I dreamt about this person I've never met before, and I have no idea why I would have dreamt about this woman. And she was just sitting on this porch drinking lemonade and laughing. And so my friend called her friend, and I come to find out that the place that I described was a place that she used to go when she was, the mom used to go when she was younger, and that's where her happier times were. It was like a family member of hers. And that was something that I took, was like, well, then your mom's all right, kind of thing. Because like I said, I had never met this woman. I had never done anything with this girl, with her family, nothing. I knew nothing about anything. And I was able to describe to her to a T this place that her aunt used to live. So it was her mom's sister's house. And it helped her out quite a bit. So, you can use dream magic for good things. You can use dream magic for divination. You can use your dream magic for, a variety of things. Like I said, I use it for spiritual advancement because sometimes I can't meditate very well. So working with Thor or Rhiannon in a dream state helps a lot. I was able to connect with them on a different level that way. I'm, connecting with your loved ones. I don't really want to get too much into symbolism right now because I feel like what something means to me is not going to mean something to you. I am deathly afraid of spiders. Much better now than I used to be. But if I dream of spiders, then that's going to mean something different to me than it's going to mean for you. Maybe I'm in a situation where I'm scared about something, and the way that the spiders react to me, or the way that they're placed, or where they are, or what they're doing, is giving me kind of an indication of the outcome of this. Whereas you may not be scared of spiders, and you actually may really like them, so you dreaming about them is going to be completely different. And that's what I mean, like, you can read these books with these dream symbols, and it creates a base, but it does not create the personal meaning for you. The number 4 a lot of the times means completion, because of the 4 corners, it's a box, all of that. I typically do not like dreaming of the number 4. I don't like even numbers. So dreaming of the number 4 is not necessarily a good thing for me. It doesn't necessarily mean a good completion for me. And a lot of your dream books will say a completion of something. But then again, if I dream before, maybe it's the end of a friendship, that kind of thing. So it really is a personal thing. Um, definitely keep a dream journal though. Even if you don't remember everything, even if you don't remember enough to create full sentences, make sure you put colors that you saw, places that you were, maybe people who were there. And eventually these things will start to come together, and the more you write them down, the better you'll be at doing it. Um, the better you'll be at remembering them. What really sucks for me is that during the week, I am always woken up by an alarm clock, whether it be my own or my husband's. I'm always woken up by an alarm clock. So unless I just happen to force myself awake, and I have done that where I know that I'm dreaming something important and I know that the alarm clock is going to scare me out of it, which is typically when I tend to forget stuff and it just drives me nuts. So unless I am very conscious in that dream, like, all right, you need to wake up before your alarm goes off so you can remember this, then I tend to lose my information. So the weekends are great for me. I love my weekends. I love nap time. Because a lot of times at nap time I can just let myself go and not wake up until I wake up. So, maybe try to train yourself to be aware of when you're dreaming. If you know you're dreaming about something that's very impossible, it might be easy for you to say, okay, I'm dreaming. This is obviously a dream, and now I need to pay attention to what I'm looking for. Okay, now wake up. And I've done that. And it takes some practice. I didn't used to be able to do that when I was little. The older I got, the better I've gotten at it. When I was younger, I just kind of let it all play out because, my dreams were interesting. But I have certain triggers now that when I dream these things, I know that this is what's coming. Some of my triggers are teeth. I have a partial plate in my mouth, and that was very traumatic as a child. And I feel like anytime I ever dream about something happening to the two of them, I need to pay attention to what has happened. Sometimes they melt, sometimes they crack, sometimes they just disappear. But I need to pay attention to that because that, to me, there's something very stressful coming my way, and how it happens in a dream is what I need to look out for. Maybe it's a slow build of stress. Maybe all of a sudden, if they just shatter, then it's a sudden jolt of stress. Things like that. But I really, I have my own personal triggers, which is why it makes it very difficult to explain what yours may be. Which is why it's so important for you guys to write down your stuff. I feel like I'm spinning in circles, and I'm hoping that this is coming out the way I wanted it to, because this really is one of my favorite topics. I'd be more than happy to answer questions if I have confused any of you, because that is a possibility, because this week has been horrible and my brain's going all over the place. So I can only imagine what this sounds like. I had every intention of writing down a list and just kind of going down the list. But with this week, there was none of that. So I'm trying to remember everything that I really wanted to say to you guys. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. Sometimes I think if you're not logged into Google or something, it does something to where you can't reply. I'm not sure what that is. But, the more you learn, you may even not just interpret your own dreams, but you can interpret other people's dreams, or at least give them something to where you say, all right, well, water is emotions, and what color is it? And you can give them a baseline. You may not be able to tell them exactly what, but you may be able to give them some kind of an indication of where to look, what is stressing them out. And I've done that for several friends. Several friends have come to me like, well, I don't know what water means. What does it mean? Or I don't know what dreaming about blood or wolves mean. What does it typically mean? And then, you can say, well, wolves typically mean this. Do you have anything in your life that's like that right now? If not, you need to look at the color. And all sorts of things. The more you learn, the easier it is to do that. But this is one of my favorite topics. and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that maybe I muddled in this video. And I do believe this is my longest video to date. Until next time, I will see you then, and have a fantastic week. Blessed be.